Hello, Pink here. I'm the owner of Kumio store in Second Life. I've been meaning to create a quick tutorial on how I make unrigged micro mesh without it getting distorted or warped. I figured now's a good time as any while I'm actually working on a new release to record my workflow. Just a quick FYI, the distortion occurs because Second Life has a minimum size requirement. So when you're uploading your mesh item, it can't be smaller than 0.01 meter in any X, Y, or Z axis. So as you can see, I've rezzed out a few of my warped micro mesh. Now, these are rigged, so when they're worn, they will retain their proper shape. However, I also want to make unrigged versions and I don't want them to be stretched out sideways like this. And if you go into edit mode, you can see the y-axis, or in this case the sideways like axis, they're already at its smallest size, 0.01 meter, and I can't shrink it any further. So when I was first starting out creating mesh, it was like really difficult finding a solution to this issue, as I'm sure you all have experienced. I've tried out several tried and true methods, including adding a cube around the mesh, adding an edge diagonally across the mesh, but I never felt like they were a good, clean solution to the results that I wanted. And then I finally came across a really great method from the SL community forums. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. So basically, we're going to be sort of faking the size of the unrigged mesh so that the uploader thinks it's the minimum 0.01 meters. So let's go over to Blender. I have here the micro mesh. It's unrigged, UV mapped, complete, ready to be exported and uploaded into SL. But first, we have to dupe the uploader. In order to do that, we want to go into the object properties, which I have already selected here, the orange square, and then you scroll down to viewport display, then you want to enable bounds. This shows the mesh boundary. It's just like how the SL uploader would see it in order to calculate its size. And as we saw in World, my mesh was stretched out sideways. So we want to make the mesh bounds also stretched out sideways without warping or stretching out our mesh. To do this, go into edit mode, make sure you have the vertex selection enabled. Then you just click on any old vertex, duplicate it, move it off to the side. Now you can see the bounding box also moving. So we want to give it a pretty roomy, maybe close to. It doesn't have to be completely fully 0.01 since we also have the mesh calculated into this bounding box, but roughly around this size, 0.01 meters. Then you want to have only the vertex selected, don't select anything else. Go to mesh, sort elements, and then select it. What this does is make that vertex the first item in the file, the mesh file. And it makes sure, because it's the first element in your mesh file, it will not get deleted like automatically, which is what would be the problem normally if we were to just export it without having done that step. So say we've already exported it, which I already have. We go back into Second Life and upload it. See, mesh model. Say about that much. Okay. Now we have perfectly unwarped micro mesh. So you want to keep in mind because of the bounding box being slightly off to the side, the center of its mass, so to speak, it will also be a little bit off to the side here. It's kind of floating off to the side instead of smack dab in the middle of the mesh. So that's my workflow. I hope you found this helpful. Take care, guys.